Yeah. So today we are going to discuss what are plugins and how are they useful and how are they used in Core Lightning and how can we customize the behavior of our Lightning node using plugins. So let's hop over to the repository and see some existing plugins. So this
Can you?
directory, yeah, hello.
Yeah, you're audible, but the text is not visible.
Okay, just a second.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
better now.
visible? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this plugin directory inside the Lightning repository is responsible for all the plugins that are registered for this node. These are called compulsory plugins. Without them, the node would not be able to run. There is something called optional plugins as well, which you can turn off, and even when you turn it off, the node would run just fine. So there are multiple languages that Core Lightning supports in which you can write the plugins. So the all the majorly almost all the plugins are written in the C language. Only one of them is written in Python, which is this CLN REST, which creates the REST API for the Lightning node, so that web clients can communicate with your Lightning node. And recently they have also started to support Rust. So this gRPC plugin is written in Rust. So let's look at some of the plugins and see how they work. So I'm going to walk you through uh, one of these. So let's hop over to BCLI. So as you all might remember, last time I mentioned that as well, that your Lightning node communicates with the Bitcoin D at the backend. So for all the the information about the blocks and the transaction is fetched from from the Bitcoin D.
Yeah,
So this,
yeah. So I have a sort of elementary question. When I was trying to set up my Lightning D and Bitcoin running on top of Bitcoin D, I got
Mhm,
error on plugins. So I got like unusual plugin offers, killing plugin, timed out before replying to init. So like,
mhm. Which
what?
plugin was creating the issue?
So it mentioned broken plugin offers, plugin marked as important, shutting down Lightning
Okay,
D.
okay.
Can't recover from failure.
Okay, so this plugin was not compiling fine on your system. So most the easiest fix for this is you can just use this flag, uh, disable plugin. Wait,
And what are plugins, by the way? Like what they are? I've not gone to the document because
okay.
yeah, I was.
So plugins are built on top of the Lightning D. So there are three layers. The first layer is Bitcoin D, and the second is Lightning D, and then plugins work on top of Lightning D. So you can define some of your custom methods which will communicate with the Lightning D, and uh, and then you can define all the business logics in the programming language. You will get to know more about this uh, when we write one.
So plugins are like Lightning apps. Like it operates on top of Lightning and does something. So rather writing a command, you can write a plugin, and that will do the desired stuff. Is that what it
Plugin
is?
communicates with Lightning daemon. So imagine if you want to set up a plugin in which you don't imagine you want to pay an invoice, but you don't want to mention the amount of sats. You directly want to mention like $10 or $20 or $50, and and then the invoice gets created. So you would create a plugin which would automatically convert the amount of dollar into the amount of sats and then communicate with Lightning D to create an invoice for those sats, and the plugin would give you that invoice back, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Got that. I have some understanding of plugins. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So they work on top of Lightning D, and you can define their behavior based on your needs and business logic. So yeah, for example, this BCLI plugin. So as you all know, Lightning D communicates with Bitcoin D. So the communication between these two happens using this BCLI plugin. Python commands. So these are the different commands that are registered in BCLI plugin. So if you, this is the name of the command, this is the uh, this is the genre that it is related to, this is the description of the command, and this is the function that gets run when you type this on the command prompt. So when you run get raw block by height, this function runs here, get raw block by height. So it communicates with Bitcoin CLI. As you can see, there's this function start Bitcoin CLI. This is a bit complex plugin. We'll have a look at some simpler as well. Wait. Pay plugin. Okay, so let's discuss how we can write plugins in Python. I'm assuming some of you might be having some basic knowledge of Python.
Yeah.
All right.
I have
So there's this library called pyln client. I'll zoom it. So you can install this library using this command pip install pyln client. So this is written by the core maintainers of Core Lightning only. So a Python client library for Lightning D. So using this library, we can register our own commands and all the things that are required. So we'll write, this is the basic Hello World plugin that is written in the documentation using the pyln client. So we'll write a basic plugin, we'll implement some methods on it and then run Lightning D through this. Also, there are different flags as well. While running Lightning D, you can so addressing Setu's issue. I hope it's visible.
Now it is. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm starting the Lightning D. So as you can see, the first thing that happens when you run Lightning D is there's something called the plugin manager, which starts these multiple files. So this plugin manager is responsible for starting all the compulsory plugins that are required to run the node. So in your case, Setu, this one, the offers plugin is not compiling, and that is why the node is failing. So there might be some issue with the compiler. So what you can do is you can just mention this flag. Wait, I'll disable plugin offers.
Aditya, this offers, firstly, does it have anything to do with the offers protocol that enables sending invoices over the Lightning network? And secondly, disabling this, does it not have any impact on the functionality of your Lightning node?
Uh, this offers plugin is responsible for Bolt 12, if you have guys heard of it. Those
Right,
are called
that is
static invoices.
right. You send them on the Lightning network, not outside it, right?
Yeah. So this offers, if we look at the code base, we'll, wait, this is LDK. So this is the logic of Bolt 12 that is written inside this file, which is the offers plugin. So if we disable it, we won't be able to use the Bolt 12 invoices. But this is just a quick fix for Setu, because to debug what is exactly going wrong, I'll have to have a look at the logs and all of those things.
Yeah, I just asked because I was failing at the plugin itself, which is the topic of this session. So I was like, might as well raise it now. Yeah, but I think it worked. I removed that disable plug. I disabled the plugin for offers,
Mm-hmm.
and I initiated again. And so far, it has not thrown any error. It's still running,
Yeah,
still working. So if it does, I'll let you know. In any case, I'll check with ChatGPT as to what might be the issue with my plugins.
sure.
Uh,
So yeah, so this is the function that is used to register the
so
plugins.
it tells me that this plugin is marked as important,
Mm-hmm.
and it's shutting down my Lightning D because yeah, so it has exited. Can't recover from plugin failure, terminating.
Did you use this disable plugin BC
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's running fine on my system. Uh,
It ran fine in your system, is it?
yeah, I have disabled disable plugin offers.
Okay.
So it has blacklisted the offers plugin and it has not started it anywhere and it runs fine. Are you on the master branch?
I think so.
Okay, I'll have to. We can connect after this call
Master
and
branch for
then
Lightning, is it?
the GitHub repository. Are you on the latest
My,
version of
my
CLN?
Bitcoin node is older one.
Mhm.
But yeah, for this one, I think I'm the latest one. CLN, I'm on the latest one.
I think you might have done some typo in this while mentioning this flag. So if you,
Okay, if you just copy paste this, I'll maybe retype it in the chat box. I'll just
yeah,
retype.
sure.
Office is compatible with only the latest versions of Core, is it, Aditya?
No, no, that is compatible with like offers has been implemented since like a couple of years in Core Lightning, but some library of C might not be compiling fine on his system. That is why it might be throwing error. So we just disable this plugin.
All right.
Yeah. So there are different flags as well to register plugin to disable them. So the disable plugin flag is used to disable some plugin. So imagine if you want to run a Lightning node, but you don't want to run Bitcoin D. You just want to run Lightning D and then connect your Lightning D to some API for the blockchain that is available on the internet. So there is a plugin for it, which is called the Sauron plugin. Uh, wait. This repository has all the community based plugins which are like written by different people, and these are helpful so you can read the documentation of each one of them. So if we have a look at this Soro plugin, so this is a Bitcoin backend plugin relying on Explora. Explora is the block explorer, just like mempool.space, developed by Blockstream. Uh, So you can register, you can install this plugin. You can just copy this file into some Python file, or you can just fetch it in your local system and then run Lightning D. Uh, so you first disable the plugin BCLI. So as I have mentioned that BCLI is the plugin which communicates with Bitcoin D and gives out the information of the blockchain to Lightning D. So you first disable BCLI and then you register a plugin. Soro.py. Soro.py is the main file inside this folder, Soro. And the PWD here represent the present working directory. So if for the non-technical people here, PWD is a command which gives the path of the current uh, directory that you're in. So if I write PWD, it gives me this. So I am right now in Lightning folder. So it gives out the whole path. So we mention the path of the plugin in front of this plugin flag, and then it gives the API as well. This is the API, blockstream.info. So this link,
Uh, Aditya, in my plugins folder, in the Lightning repository, I cannot find this plugin that you're talking about. That
these
Sauron.
are not compulsory plugin. This is a different repository put out
Okay,
by
okay,
people. Like these are different plugins created by people to, like these are optional. You don't need them to
okay.
run
Understood.
Lightning.
Understood. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the currency rate
Where
that
can
I
I
was,
find this? I mean, for future reference, can you post a link in
I'll
the?
post the link. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can try running some of them after this workshop. So this currency rate plugin which I was talking about. So you can install this plugin, and then you can run this command currency rates followed by uh, the currency that you want to see the rates in, and then it will automatically give out this result. It uses different APIs at the back end. Those are mentioned here. These are the sites that it uses to fetch these rates. So let's say you want to convert $100 into sats. So you can just write currency convert 100 USD and it will give you the equivalent sats based on the current rate that is going on these sites. So yeah, I have posted the link in the chat. Some of these are not currently maintained. As you can see, some of them are updated like 3 years ago and 2 years ago. So they might throw some errors, but most of them works fine. Like the currency rate plugin, I registered that, but then the API links are not active right now. So it takes some time to update to give out the results, but it works. All right, so let's have a look at this Python library, which is called the PyLN client. Using this library, you can create plugins. You can also create JSON RPC client. So there's the sample code which gives out how it is done. So you import Lightning RPC, and then inside the Lightning RPC, you will have to give uh, the the path of your current Lightning node, and then you can directly fetch the get info or the invoice or all of the commands that we have used in the last workshop using Python. But right now, for today, our agenda is writing a plugin. So this is how we write a plugin. So I'll create a folder and we'll write a plugin from scratch for Code Lightning. I think I've already created this folder called plugin hello.py. So this is the hello world plugin. It doesn't do something. We'll just register a method called hello world, which takes an input, which takes any input and just outputs hello space the input that you give. All right, so we'll start writing it. So the first line that you write is mentioning the uh, path of the compiler. That is, we are using Python 3. So I write the path of for most of you, this would work unless you guys have set up some custom path for Python 3. So we are using this path user ben env. Now we'll import plugins. So this plugin, if we have a look at, this is the library from which we'll import this plugin object. So this is the plugin class. It's not important. We don't have to read this, but just to explain how this works internally. So this is a class in which we'll register the method. So this will have some decorators like add method. This function is used to register a method that you want to run through the CLI. Add subscription. So there's something called subscription. We'll have a look at it in a while. And then there are different things that are mentioned inside this class. So we'll just import this. Variables are in all small. So this is how I get an instance of the class. If you guys know basic concepts of programming, so I've just started a local instance of this class plugin. Now I'll register a method. So this at is used for mentioning the decorators that are defined inside the plugin class. So we'll use this decorator and we'll name it hands on lightning. Now, decorators are nothing but these are just functions which takes input as a function. So to this decorator, we'll have to input a function. So I'll write the function. We'll give plugin to it, and we'll give a default name week2.
Aditya, the name of the function needs to be exactly the same as compared to the string that you've passed as an argument to the method. Hands on lightning, hands on lightning.
I don't think so. We'll check it. It should not be, but we'll check it out. I'll write the function and then we'll change the name and see if that works.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll create a simple method with just which does this name. We'll create a function greeting. We can change it as well. And we'll just return this string on the command line. All right, so this is the function that we have registered. Now we'll create, this one is compulsory decorator that has to be created. So this is the init decorator. You can read the comments as well. If you hover over it in VS Code, it gives you the comment that is mentioned just below the function. So decorator to add a function called after plugin initialization. So in the logs, when we run Lightning D, usually the plugin manager starts the plugins. So the plugin manager compiles the file and runs it, and then you can see in the logs. Wait, it's already running apparently. Okay, it's running here. So as you can see, the plugin manager compiles the files when we run Lightning D, and then we can see different logs by the plugin. So all the logs which have this plugin dash and then the name of the plugin are the logs given by the plugin. So so after getting compiled, the first thing that runs is the plugin's init function. So right now we are just writing the init function for our plugin. So I'll give in the function. We'll just log plugin hello world initialize. So this is the most basic plugin that can be written using PyLN client. You can obviously define complex procedures as well inside it. Like if you want to fetch some info in the init only, that the number of peers, so you have different methods for that. You will have to read the documentation. So I've written this basic plugin. So it has this method called hands on lightning, and it returns a string which says hello and space the name that you give in the input. If you don't give any name, it would just assume the name to be week2 and it would print out hello week2. If you give a name, it would print out the name. Yeah. So uh, the plugin is written, so hopefully it would work fine if we haven't screwed up anywhere. I'll go to the terminal. Hmm. So to start a plugin, after writing the file, like you can write the file anywhere. It's not compulsory to to create this file inside this Lightning directory. You can just write a standalone Python, Rust, or C file anywhere on your system, even on your desktop. But you need its path. So I'll get the path of this file. So I'll write pwd. So this is the path. Now I'll start this plugin. It's called, what is it called? Plugin hello.py. Plugin hello.py. Is it visible?
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
All right. So we are starting the Lightning D on reg test. We are using the debug log level. These are the things that we have discussed in the last workshop. You can ask questions if you have any doubt in these. And then we are registering this plugin flag uh, to which we provide the path, exact path of the file that has the logic written. So I'll hit enter and hopefully it will work. So the node has started. So as you can see, the plugin manager should have yeah. So the plugin manager has started this plugin hello.py. Uh, Plugin, it throws an info log which says RPC method hands-on lightning does not have a doc string. So doc string is nothing but the documentation that is attached to a command. So obviously we haven't wrote any doc string for this. There are methods to write a doc string. We'll have a look at it. And then it must have thrown uh, okay, so it looks like it hasn't logged the first line that we have mentioned inside the init function, but we'll try to run the commands that we have registered. First, let's check if the node is running. Yes, it's good. Now we'll run the command that we have registered, and it's called hands on lightning. Yeah, so it gives out hello week 2. Uh, if I write some name, let's say Faisal, it says hello Faisal, or anything that we. So the word that follows after the RPC commands are used as an input which are given to this function. So what is happening here is it assumes that this name variable is week 2 unless we give it something else. So if we keep it empty, it would just assume it to be week 2. If we give it a name, it would just log the name out.
So, I had a couple of questions pertaining this code snippet, Aditya.
Yeah.
Firstly, the function hands-on lightning has two parameters, plugin and name, right? But we've
Yeah.
not used the plugin anywhere in that function. So, like, was it mandatory to use that as a parameter, and or why have we used it if we're not using it in the function?
Yeah, so this plugin class is responsible for your interaction with Lightning D. It says controls interaction with Lightning D and bundles functionality. So we have taken an instance of this class. This is called taking an instance of this class, and we have passed this instance. So what happens is this function communicates with plugin D, and plugin D communicates with Lightning D. Uh, so whenever Lightning D uh, receives any RPC method, it gives out it gives out this notification to, like, in a very layman language I am trying to explain this. So it gives out a notification to all the plugins that do you have this registered in your file. So that's how this plugin hello responds that yes, I have it, and then it runs this function. So if we don't give this plugin parameter to this function, it won't work. This is how we are communicating with the Lightning D.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah,
And if you could move your mouse.
sorry.
Yeah. Okay. And this init function, it also has like three parameters, right? And one of which we've used, right, to print out a log, which is plugin.log. The other two, what is the significance? What do they do? Options and configuration.
Yeah, so whenever you're in doubt about any parameters that we are passing, the easiest thing to do is just hop on to the function. Wait, where is it? So just a second. It must have the init function that we are calling. So in general, this configuration is used to give the configuration of the nodes that you want to register, and options. You can also define options. There is something called options. So you use this plugins dot add option. I guess add option. Yeah. Yeah, so these are used to register options, and these are what you pass to the init function. I think I would be able to explain this better in some C plugin. Wait. Yeah. So this one's the plugin that is written by me. Uh, Similar to the function that we have used in the Python file, the init function. This is where we register the plugin, and this is the init function that we are using. So yeah, this is the init function. So as you can see in this init function, what we are doing is we are calling the get info RPC, which gives out the information of the node, and then we are fetching out the features of our node, and then stubbing it into the features into this variable. So the function of this the function of this init function is to just register the plugin. So in this sample plugin, we are doing nothing at the start of the plugin. We are just logging plugin hello world initialize, plugin hello world initialize.
Right. So in our case, we are not using options or configurations. We're only
Yeah,
using
yeah,
plugin.
yeah. But you can mention those as well to create complex functionalities like using an API or like creating the plugin that I have shown you. This channel backup plugin is responsible for peer storage backups. So if you have heard of it, those are uh, we use peer storage backups to distribute some data among our peers. So we encrypt the data first and then we distribute to our peers. And whenever we uh, let's say we delete our database or we lose some data, we can just get back on the network. We can connect to those peers and they'll give us the data that we have told them to store back. So the whole functionality that I have mentioned right now is handled by this plugin. So plugins are very powerful. You can do anything with them without the knowledge, like without getting into the details of how Lightning D works and what goes on behind the scene. You can just write a plugin and implement your business logic.
Yeah, got it. Thanks. Thanks, sir.
Yeah. Any other question?
One question, but not. I mean, it has to do with because you mentioned the channel state backup. It had to do with that. So, do you want me to ask it now, or we can defer it for later?
No, you can ask. You can ask me.
Okay. In a commit or in a funding transaction, right? In the witness data, you can store some arbitrary information, right? Whatever it could be, text or anything. So, I mean, yesterday we were going through the Optic newsletter, and we just came across an article or a proposal that said that in the witness data you can store the channel state. Okay, so can you elaborate on how a node can lose its state, and how is it possible to store the channel state in the funding transaction? How is it recovered,
All
or the
right.
channel state? Sorry.
Hmm. So what happens is there is a dynamic database that is associated with your lightning node. So if I go to my wait, it's here. So this is the lightning directory that is hidden inside your home folder. So as you can see, there are three directories based on the network that you run. So if you run the mainnet, this is your lightning directory for the mainnet. This is your lightning directory for the reg test, and this is your lightning directory for the testnet.
Aditya, can
As
you
you, yeah, wait. I don't know how. How do I zoom it? Wait, I'll do one thing. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Uh, is it
It's
visible?
fine. I mean, the names of the folders, I believe, are not that important, right? We can see Bitcoin, we can see Regtest, we can see testnet. We can't see the names of the individual files, but I think it's manageable.
Okay, so in each of these folders, you have the dynamic data that is associated with the Lightning node. So this file that you see, lightning d.sqlite3, if I if you open it in SQLite Explorer, it's a database which has all the states that of the channel. So and this gets updated every time you create a transaction. This is not a static database. It gets updated whenever you run your node. So if somehow this database is corrupted, so for a channel, let's say you lose some, you have paid an invoice, you get the revocation secret. I I'm assuming you know what revocation secrets and per commitment point means.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, so if you lose that, you won't be able to create the penalty transaction, or in some cases, you won't be able to fetch the funds as well if the channel base points gets deleted, and those are stored in this database. So yeah, this so if you lose some state, it's a very big problem for your channel. So you tell the peer to force close it and then you sweep the funds. So I haven't gone through the optech that you have mentioned, but I'm assuming uh, it's just mentioning some data of the state that is created inside the witness data of the
Aditya,
transaction.
question. So what's this static database?
Sorry.
What's this static database? Like what you have mentioned currently,
Okay. So static channel backup is wait. I'll show it to you in the code base.
what sort of DB it is? Is it a
So,
relational DB or a NoSQL one or a cache or stuff?
okay, so the data you're talking about the database, right? This one.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the Code Lightning gives you an option to keep it like whatever you want. So in my case, I've just used this SQLite which has these tables. So yeah, this is relational database. But you
So
can
so,
use
so
RAID
does it
systems
take
as well.
any merits of this transactions? Or is there any specific reason to go for the relational database?
Uh, I don't have much detail on the architectural decisions that are taken, but you have an option to take some other database as well. It's not compulsory to use SQLite, but from what I know, SQLite is light on the system and it runs on like basic laptops as well. That is why the default is SQLite. But
So
you
we
can
can even
create
consider
cloud. Yeah,
any other NoSQL DBs as well, or
yeah,
is SQL
yeah.
only
Yeah,
permitted?
you'll have to read the documentation. Wait, it must have it.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so
I'll go through it then. Yeah.
yeah, it also mentions how you can create parallel writes to cloud as well. So you can, uh, if you have heard of RAID redundant, so it creates parallel writes
Hmm.
of the database into two databases. So you can create a cloud database and then it would update both of these simultaneously. So there's this whole documentation regarding this.
Okay, so it's some sort of replication which we do on cloud as well and on the local DB as well.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can choose, like, there are two options from what I know. One is you can choose SQLite and one more. I'll have to go through the documentation in detail, but they have two options to register the database.
Okay, okay, makes sense. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, the static channel, like, just going a bit off topic, what is that? So this database is highly dynamic. It's like it changes every time you do a payment, you connect to some node, or you do any operation on the node, this gets updated. So backing it up is a huge task. And if you lose it, you lose all the funds that are stored in your channel. So all the funds that are deployed in multiple channels that you have in a node would be gone to the dustbin if you lose this database. So that is why we use something called static channel uh, databases. Uh, it's a bit misleading to call it static because it is also dynamic in nature, but it changes less frequently. So in CLN's case, this is the static channel database, which is called the emergency dot recover file, and this gets updated every time you create a channel or close a channel. So every time you create a channel, there is some static information that is created once you create a channel. And then when you create transaction and uh, do a payment or do anything on the node, that is the dynamic info. So we store all the static information about the channel in this file and keeps updating it. So if you lose this Lightning database, you can use this file to see the channel ID. I'll see what it stores. Although I have written the code for emergency recover, but I don't exactly remember what we are storing in this. I think this sub channel. Hmm. So we use these details about the channel, which is the ID. The ID here refers to the ID that is used inside this dynamic database. The row at which we store the channel, there is an ID associated to each row, ID 1, 2, 3, 4. So we store the ID from the dynamic database. We store the node ID, that is the peer that we have a channel with. We store the channel ID. We store the funding address. We store the wire address. Here, the wire address is just the IP address so that we can connect to the node that we had a channel with. We store the amount of sats that are in the channel, and then we store this channel type. So there are different kind of channels. You can read about it. Like, if you have read Bolt 8, I guess those are related to the features. So it mentions all the features that are enabled in the channel. So using this, we can connect to the peer and tell them that uh, please close it. There's something wrong on my end, so you will have to force close it, and then the peer force closes it, and then we sweep the funds from the blockchain. So we use this. We can't be together anymore, or something like this. We can't be. Yeah. So when we recover through the static channel backup, we send this specific error to our peers. We can't be together anymore, to basically suggest the peer that please force close this channel so that I can sweep the funds. So that is what happens behind the scenes for static channel backups.
The static database, I believe, stores information that is static throughout the existence of the channel, like the node ID,
Yeah,
address, etc. And the
yeah.
dynamic database has information that keeps on changing every time there's a change in the state of the channel whenever you're routing a payment, right?
So yeah, so we need two things uh, to basically sweep the funds. We need the address and the node ID of the peer to connect to the node. We need the funding out point so that we can look on the blockchain that yes, the funding has been spent by the peer so that we can try sweeping the funds. And then we need the channel base points, if you have heard of it. So the channel base points in CLN are derived from the database ID and one more parameter. So in our case, we are storing the ID. In case of LDK, I'm also implementing this for LDK as well. So in case uh, of LDK, the structure is quite complex because they derive the channel base. They don't derive channel base points from these basic numbers. Wait, I'll tell you what is stored in this. What is it called? So in case of LDK, we are storing these information, which are obviously more than what we store for CLN. So it depends upon implementation. Like they have this thing called obscure factor and all of these things. So we are storing that as well.
Right, understand. Thanks.
Okay, so plugins. Back to let's get back to plugins. So we have written this basic plugin. So the idea for doing this, for introducing plugins in week 2, is that you get something to hello. Hello.
Yeah, you're audible, Aditya.
You're audible. I think
Oh.
someone entered with his mic on.
All right. So the idea for introducing and giving you an introduction to plugins is so that you get something to get your hands dirty and play with the Lightning D by creating some custom plugins and some custom method that you want to introduce to Lightning D. And if you think those are like those would be useful for the community, you can create a PR in this repository. So this is maintained by Christian Decker and T-Bast. So you can create a PR if you want, and also you can have a look at all the plugins that are given in this directory. So
Can we look at the currency converter? I believe it should be pretty straightforward.
yeah, we can have a look at it. So this is the main file. So they import this PyLN client. They start the instance. Let's go to the init function and see what is happening. So yeah, in this plugin, they are providing options and configuration as well. Add source, disable source. Okay, so they have given this option called add source, which is you can use this add source option to give the URL of the API if you don't trust the APIs that are used in this particular uh, plugin. So as you can see, these are the APIs that it is using to fetch the currency from. This is Bitstamp, CoinGecko, CoinDesk, Coinbase, and blockchain.info. So you can add some custom URL as well. Disable source, you can disable some source which is mentioned at the top here. So this is the initial method of the plugin. Now we can see the methods that are registered. So it registered currency rates. The doc string is gets currency rates from API. It uses this function get rates.
This docstring gets logged on the terminal when you like initiate your Lightning node and this plugin gets initiated.
No, it does. It is not logged on the logs. You can use the help API to see the doc string.
Okay. Okay. So okay. Understood. So it gives you an information of what this plugin does.
Yeah. What this command does.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the get currency rate function which gets initiated when we run this particular method. So as you can see, it takes in the input currency, URL format, and reply members. Okay, so it takes the string passed to it into the lowercase. So if you provide USD in all caps, this one just converts it to lower caps USD. Then it creates the URL. URL format as this is these are the URLs, and this is the variable currency. So it puts in the currency that you mentioned, and then then it like this is just basic Python code to fetch information from any API if you have some experience in writing Python. So uh, yeah, so you
Uh,
can
so Aditya, like, what are the other life cycle decorators we use with the plugins? So, like, we saw the init, then we
Mhm.
saw the run. So run was not a decorator. Sorry, not a decorator.
Yeah, not a decorator. So you can okay, so currently we have just seen the method decorator to register methods, but what you can do is you can create some behavioral changes as well when Lightning D does something. So you can use subscribe method. There's this thing called subscribe method. I'll tell you what happens. So in the documentation, they have used this subscribe decorator. So there are different events that occur in your Lightning D, like when you connect to a node, when you fund a channel, or whatever event that is happening inside Lightning D. So it publishes a notification to plugins. So you can subscribe to any event. So in this particular sample method that they have provided, they have subscribed to the connect method. So it says on connect, it says received connect event for peer this. So basically, you can subscribe to fund channel. You'll have to look at what it is called. So it must be in the code base.
So is it
Correct.
possible for us to subscribe to some particular sort of uh, events rather than subscribing
Yeah,
to all the events being sent
yeah,
by?
yeah. In this particular plugin, which is this is the notifs array mention the event that we are subscribing to. So this event called channel state changed.
Hmm.
So whenever state of a channel changes, you might remember from your last workshop that when we fund the channel, there are multiple states that are mentioned inside the list peer channels. That is channel D normal or open or signature exchanged. So this particular plugin is subscribing to channel state changed. Now let's see what happens when this notification gets published. This function is run. So it fetches out. So these functions are used to get the string out from the JSON. So it says if the channel state changed is closed or awaiting lock-in or dual open awaiting lock-in, call this RPC. Otherwise, just return notification handled. Notification handled is just okay. Like we just tell Lightning D that we have done what we wanted to do, and if the channel state is out of these three, we call this RPC and do other stuff that we want to do. You can have a look at it. It basically updates the HCB. So as I've told you, the static channel backup, the emergency recover file updates whenever we open a channel or close a channel. So when we close a channel or when we open a channel, it runs this function and it updates the HCB. It logs
Makes
updates
sense.
on the
Yeah.
HCB.
So it seems more like a event bus, considering each plugin can subscribe to a particular set of events only. So yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, those are published by the Lightning D. So there are notification and then there are hooks as well. So you can register methods. You can subscribe to some event that has happened that has occurred in Lightning D, and there are hooks as well. You'll have to read about all the hooks and all of those things in the detail. For example, there's this hook called custom message. So custom messages. I'm assuming you guys know what like Bolt is the Lightning
Yes.
protocol. So it has these different messages in them, right? So if you want to, and do you know this concept called it's okay to be odd? Okay,
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
okay. So whenever two nodes communicate, and the number of so each message has a number associated to it. So if the number is even, the other node, it's understood that the other node recognizes this message. And if you sent an even message which is not recognized by some other node, it would directly close the channel because it would think that you have done something illegitimate. So that is why unknown even messages are not allowed, but odd even messages are allowed. So you can send any message numbered 47 or 49 and it could have any bullshit that you want. And the other node would not do anything. So what you can do in your plugin, you can write some. So right now, peer storage backup. So peer storage backup is not inside the main protocol. So it is an odd numbered message. So what this plugin does is whenever we get an odd numbered message which associates to peer backup, it handles that message inside through this plugin, the channel backup. But imagine if you're running LDK node and you get peer storage message, it won't recognize it. But then if it is odd, it would let it go and won't do anything, like won't force close the channel or won't disconnect. So uh, you can define custom behavior of your nodes as well. You can define some messages and register them in your plugin and then communicate between the nodes that you know has your plugin installed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think this odd and even message thing is covered in mastering the Lightning Network. I remember vividly that we went through it. Did not make any sense at that point in time, but I think it is in the book.
Yeah. So each message, wait, I'll show you how that happens.
So Aditya, like, will we be writing plugin in C?
So we have written a sample plugin in Python. So
Python, yeah.
the idea was to just show you how to get started with it, and then you can like ideate and create some plugin from like consider it as a hackathon.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So uh, yeah. So this is where messages are described inside Code Lightning. CSVs are comma separated values, so it's just an Excel file sort of. So the message type is static channel backup and the number associated with it is 6135. So as you can see, this is an odd number. So this won't be so this message won't be considered illegitimate when you send it to a node which doesn't know what this message means. It would just ignore it. But if I change it to 6134 and send it to an LDK node or an LND node, it would just force close the channel because it's an unknown even message. That is why in the book and in the protocol it is mentioned it's okay to be odd.
So these numbers are firstly, are they pre-configured and are they associated with specific messages? Like a specific message has a specific pre-configured number, or
Yes.
you can choose any arbitrary number as long as it ends with an odd or an even.
So there are with each message there is a number associated. Wait, I'll show you. So this is the repository where all the this is the repository for the Lightning protocol. So if we go to this messaging, it has the init message. So it says type 16. So the number associated with init is 16 because in between the computers, we won't be sending this word init. We'll be sending 16 and the other node would interpret 16 as an init message and then deserialize all the data that is included inside this message.
Right. Sorry.
So for this peer storage, we are uh, until and unless it is not inside this repository, we'll have to use odd messages for all the things that you want to introduce. So for right now for peer storage, we are using I might have mentioned. So this is where I register the messages. So this message peer storage has the number 7 associated with it, and this your peer storage retrieval has 9 associated with it. So so back to the point. So you can basically register any custom behavior or any custom messages in your plugin as well. So in this particular plugin, this custom message is handling the peer storage and peer storage retrieval messages only. Yeah. So you would have to have, yeah. So if you can see that it deserializes the message, it checks if the number is equal to wire peer storage, then it deserializes it according to the protocol. Otherwise, it just returns false that this is not peer storage message. I hope this is not like it didn't went through your head.
No, I mean, I understood. I mean, the purpose of the question was served. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So before the next workshop, I am expecting you guys will play around with plugins, try to like create some basic plugins and register some methods uh, to define behavior in your Lightning node. Also, you can try having a look at this the community plugins that I have shown you and try running them as well. Cool. I think we are. This is what the objective was for today's workshop.
Yeah. Great session again, Aditya. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Do you
Aditya,
have any questions?
And no, none for me right now. But I'll play with plugins and ping you in the Lightning Dev for any questions.
Sure. And if any of you encounter some issues while running Lightning D or setting it up, feel free to post it in the Lightning Dev channel. I'll try my best to debug it then and there.
Sure. Thanks. Thanks.